Young and the Restless puts Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, trying like crazy to hang on to Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, but he's only pushing her further away as she gets closer to another man. They may be splitting up soon when Kyle pushes Claire too far. Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman's relationship on the brink, pushing too hard? Right now, Kyle is trying everything he can to prove himself to Claire and fight for their relationship. However, his parents, Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, and Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, and Claire's mom, Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, all advised Kyle to take a step back and let Claire process. They told Kyle not to push so much. Claire definitely thinks Kyle is trying too hard. He wants so desperately to fix everything and get back to the way they were. At every turn, Kyle is just coming on too strong, and he is making things worse by the day. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Claire seems ready to move past this first relationship of her life and try something else. However, she's not a cruel person, and she doesn't want to hurt Kyle. This week, Claire opens up to her mom, Victoria, and says she just doesn't think she can get past what Kyle did. One mistake after another for Kyle on YNR. First, there was him kissing Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, and lying about it. Plus, Claire still doesn't know how far that kiss went. It was wildly across the line. Then, Kyle proposed to Claire, thinking that would fix things. On top of that, Kyle didn't tell her about his $5 million deal he made with Victor Newman, Eric Braden. So, it's not surprising when Claire actually says to Victoria she just wants to run away from Kyle. Claire says being with Kyle doesn't make her feel good anymore. On top of that, Claire also admitted to Victoria that somebody else has gotten her attention. Claire has been getting closer to Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, who is obviously smitten with her. Young and the Restless, Claire's got her eye on Holden. This week, while Claire's talking with Victoria at Society, we're going to see Holden at the bar, and she's checking him out. Claire tells Victoria that maybe she shouldn't be in a really serious relationship right now because, if you remember, Kyle was Claire's first relationship. He was the first guy that she'd ever dated. Claire gave Kyle her V card. He's been her first everything, first love, first making love, first boyfriend, all of that. But at the same time, Claire isn't ready to be tied down. So Kyle proposing might have been an even worse move than he realized when he did it. Claire tells Victoria that maybe she needs to live a little before settling down and committing to one person for the rest of her life. Claire says maybe she needs more experience, all the time while she's eyeballing hunky Holden. Young and the Restless, Claire calls it quits? So, I suspect Claire may soon tell Kyle that she wants to break up. Claire asked for room to breathe, and Kyle wouldn't give it. So, I think Claire may force Kyle to give her some space by dumping him, at least for now. Claire may tell Kyle, look, I'm going to call a timeout. This is a breakup, and we'll see if there's the chance later that we make up. And then Claire might start hanging out with Holden more. In fact, Holden already invited Claire to go to LA with him. That was when she was just telling him how stressed she is and that Kyle keeps pushing. She told Holden no because she thinks it will make things worse with Kyle. But then, at the same time, Claire was acting a little disappointed that Holden kind of wasn't trying to pick her up. So, after she talks to Victoria, Claire seems to have a better idea of what she wants and who she wants. And it's not Kyle. Claire might actually follow Holden to LA and maybe surprise him there, especially if Kyle doesn't back off and continues to suffocate her. We know Holden is crazy about Claire. And even better, he seems to hate Audra right now. If you remember, when he first came to town, Holden definitely was still into Audra. But now he seems to only have eyes for Claire. The only thing Holden wants from Audra is to make sure she stays far away from Claire. So, yeah, I think Holden is the clear rebound choice for Claire, and I think it might be coming soon. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Kyle Abbott and Audra Charles, a fiery encounter and potential for hatements. As for Kyle, this week he sees Audra at the Jazz Lounge with Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, and things get really nasty between them. Audra and Kyle are pretty much spitting fire at each other. They're trading insults. They're getting a little loud. Sally tries to calm things down because they're making a scene and people are staring. This exchange between Audra and Kyle has so much heat. It could be a whole hatements and enemies to lovers thing. You know, on soaps in general, arguing can always lead to the bedroom. So, I can totally see Kyle and Audra secretly having some spicy hate sex. If Kyle and Audra are not in public the next time they bicker, like if they're in one of the hallways over the GCC or something, their anger could turn to passion. There is a thin line between love and hate, as they say. If Clare does indeed break up with Kyle, he'll be very upset, and he might even go confront Audra. The accusations could turn to some spicy bedroom action. Kyle and Audra surprise themselves and each other? If Kyle does end up rebounding with Audra, I would expect it to start out purely physical and also totally in secret, like a very dirty secret. But later, you never know, Audra and Kyle might end up catching feelings for each other. I do suspect deep down that Kyle and Audra have some sort of feelings for each other. But I think their pride, their arrogance, and their need for revenge and control got in the way of any potential they might have had together. So, if Clare bails on Kyle, that'll leave him and Audra both single. I think Young and the Restless might be setting the stage for them to reconnect. If so, and Clare finds out they're hitting the sheets, I think that would be the end of it. She would never ever consider taking Kyle back, at least not for a minute or two. When they say never ever on a soap, you know, maybe that's 6 months to a year. Holden's devotion and Clare's potential future. I'm quite certain that Holden will be more than happy to wipe away Clare's tears and love her, however much Clare will let him. Holden is a totally smitten kitten for Clare. I do think he would respect her boundaries because he wants her so much. If she says, "This is going to be casual. I'm going to make decisions. I'll let you know if I want it more serious," I think Holden would be okay. Okay, whatever you say, sweetheart. As long as you're seeing me, I'm happy. If Clare sees Kyle moving on with Audra, I definitely think Clare would feel justified in whatever she decides to do with Holden. Because if Kyle and Audra did give in and do the hate sex thing, you know that Audra would run and make sure that Clare knew about it right after it happened, just so she would never give Kyle a second look. Subscribe the channel to get such videos.